Welcome in. It is your Clippers Talk Thanksgiving special. Let me know if you guys can hear me, as I think I have my sound settings right. Let me know on that end. Gosh, did I get the sound card in right? I just want to see somebody here in the chat. Let me know if you can hear me and if you can hear the sound I'm playing. Because I got a lot of it today. We're going to get to your Thanksgiving foursome movies. Um, yeah, you're going back for 4 servings. I think it's 4 movies I have. These are the obscure Thanksgiving movies. Can you hear this? Can you hear the turkey gobble? Let me know if you guys got the turkey. Otherwise, I'm being laughed at once again. Brian and Ralph just clowning me here because I couldn't figure out the sound. Could you guys hear the turkey? JMI 1324 is in here. TT is in here. Alex is in here. Happy Thanksgiving, guys. Appreciate y'all. Please appreciate everyone. So you got the turkey. All right. I just want to make sure we're loud and clear here, and our audio is in fact working from the Scarlet whatever thing I have set up, this little sound card here. So we're going to preview tomorrow's game against the Minnesota Timberwolves in just a second. And I will give up the Thanksgiving foursome, the movies that I think you should be watching on Thanksgiving. This is not Charlie Brown's Thanksgiving. These are more obscure movies that are out there, more anonymous, stuff you wouldn't know about. This is some select film that only I would give you here, although if we did an F&A podcast this week with myself and Kevin Figures, I would have done it there too. But I'm going to give away, I think it's 4. Let me double check on this as I look over my notes because I kind of threw this together last minute. I told you we're 7 days a week. We're doing shows 7 days a week. That includes Christmas. That includes Thanksgiving. And this show includes Adam's not-so-traditional Thanksgiving movies that will rescue you. You can pick your friends. You can't pick your family. Maybe some of you are pinned into a corner right now, having to talk to that weird uncle or cousin, or maybe you're just lost in the sauce with the cranberry going on right now. I don't know how many of you have already eaten your meals. I just want you to enjoy this Thanksgiving and this episode here. Quentin said, "Hey, Adam, happy Thanksgiving." So am I out of timeout? Obviously. Probably. I don't know what was the thing that you said that got yourself put in timeout. I'm guessing it was some casual stuff. Maybe you were criticizing James Harden. Maybe you were criticizing Coach Lou. Maybe you were criticizing Lawrence Frank. I am thankful for all of them. Maybe you're criticizing Ivica Zubats. The haters are in shambles. They really are. On a Thanksgiving here. You guys are getting cooked. Clippers are 12-8 after winning last night with a 43 spot from James Harden in Washington over the Wizards. And how many of you are having to eat crow instead of turkey because you thought the Clippers would be much worse than this? You didn't like the offseason moves. You didn't understand the direction they were moving in. Tried to explain it. Defensive identity is where this team is at. I do have a feeling Norman Powell will be back tomorrow. And, if I'm wrong, then I'll be getting laughed at. I don't think Brian Seaman and Ralph Lawler will be laughing at me. I got a feeling he'll be back tomorrow. He's on the road trip. It's the last game of the road trip. He didn't come all the way out there and travel across the country with this team not to play in one of the games. Now, I'm not saying they're going to play him just to get him in for some minutes because he joined them on the trip, but I still think he is very close to playing. Oh, this is the old school Clipper fan, Quentin here, who's been a fan since the 84-85 season. You said something. You said something to get put in timeout. That was probably pretty far off base, Quentin. I don't do it for no reasons. Men said no days off. No days off here, guys. No days off. That's not what we do here on Clippers Talk. I'm trying to bring a show 7 days a week. Some do it 5. That's locked on. I'm saying locked in. That's what we're doing here on Clippers Talk. But check out Dime's earlier show because I did while I was on the treadmill running 6 miles. Thankful for my gym actually being open till 11 a.m. today. Men said, hope you're getting overtime, Adam. I do this for the love of Clipper Nation. Alex Webb said, I think he could have played yesterday, but they knew they would smoke the Wizards without him. That was my guess, too. I said it on Clips and Dip. I thought they would hold him out of that game. And when I asked Law Murray pregame about it, and if you want to see that pregame episode, check it out in the live section where Law also talked about Kawhi Leonard and gave a little bit of an update. He thought he could have played, given the workouts he was doing yesterday. So my guess is they're waiting for the game against the Minnesota Timberwolves. Happy Thanksgiving, everyone. Happy Thanksgiving, 3 dozen. Jeremy Gonzalez said, timeout is for a reason. Please be normal and say factual or reasonable takes. Thank you. Oh, yeah. This is Quentin Cornett, who, no, I'm not a zoo lover. I'm a winning basketball lover. I appreciate guys who are good out there on the court. If you can't see how good Ivica Zubac has been this season since he's gotten a bigger opportunity, that's on you, Quentin. If you also can't see that they wouldn't be able to get Jimmy Butler in that trade and that he's 35 almost now and it makes no sense to trade for him and his big contract, that's on you, Quentin. That is why you got a timeout. In fact, just because it's Thanksgiving, I'm going to be nice and kind and I have the holiday spirit in me. And I'm not going to cook you like that turkey. And I'm not going to put you in timeout right now. But yes, your trade proposal was ludicrous. Everybody felt like it was. But you said, I've been a Clipper fan since 84 and 85, so I should be able to say whatever I want. You can. Just not on my channel. You can do whatever you want. Like, if you don't like the content here and the way I do the show, then you can just go somewhere else. It's all good. Jeremy said, I'm thankful for the timeouts and AI Adam. AI Adam is still here.
I'm so lonely.
I'm not. I got friends and family today. I got a couple different feasts to go to. I'm gonna be just fine. I'm not gonna need any help.
Please help me.
I'm gonna be eating good. Green bean casserole today. I'm hopeful for some. Men said Zubac blocked Kuzma's shot and the trade. Imagine not liking Ivica Zubac and being such a casual that you don't understand a guy that's averaging 16 and 12 this season and how good he is and how important he is to this team. He's a top 5 rim protector, as he's always been, and he's destroying teams that single cover him. Like, it's over. If you throw a single instead of a double against Ivica Zubac, he is going to destroy your defense. That's what we saw when Boston did it. Granted, Boston hit so many threes, it didn't matter, but they couldn't stop Ivica Zubac with one guy. And that's what we saw with the Washington Wizards. So it's on you if you want to make a trade for Jimmy Butler. It just makes no sense. Alex Webb said, happy Thanksgiving, except to Tyler, that Laker fan who Adam cooked the other day. If Harden comes back, we should be real frisky. If Harden shot comes back. Gotcha. Zoo Shack. I think I started the Zoo Shack thing. I know Dime has been saying it, but I have been posting and doing this for a long time. I have been posting the old Shaq Reebok logo when talking about Ivica Zubac. I think I deserve credit for this first. Like, Dime Dropper, I'm sorry, you're my guy, but I've been saying this forever. I've been posting this on X forever. Whenever Ivica Zubac has a big play, I post this logo, the old Shaq Reebok logo here, to talk about Ivica Zubac dominating. But that's neither here nor there. We have a show to get to here. Oh, God. Quentin can't stop. A timeout's probably coming. So you wouldn't want Jimmy Butler and James Harden and possibly Kawhi Leonard in the playoffs over Big Zoo? Quentin, you can't come up with a trade that's reasonable that the Miami Heat would accept. He can shoot threes, Mo Bamba. He also gives up 60% shooting at the rim. Slight difference between him and Ivica Zubac, and he's tight. Like, can he shoot threes? We're talking about over 700 takes in his career. Yes, he's a 36% three-point shooter. He's not nearly the rim protector Ivica Zubac is. Why do I have to deal with this stupid crap on Thanksgiving? I'm sorry, but how can you see what Ivica Zubac is doing and want to trade him and think you can trade him for Jimmy Butler? Like, can somebody else help Quentin out here? I know we're appreciative of you being a Clippers fan since the 85 season. That doesn't mean you have great basketball knowledge. That doesn't mean we can't critique your takes here. It's not how it works. Do you understand? Ivica Zubac is a top 5 rim protector. Mo Bamba is not close to that. Never has been. I've gone over the numbers. I think he is a solid backup. Ivica Zubac is a good starting center in this league. He's creeping up on being top 10 in that area. And I don't even know why I entertain people like this. I don't even know why I'm doing this today sometimes. Like, what? I'm not thankful for Quentin Cornett's trade ideas at all. Teo Ramirez said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Clipper Nation." Yes, yes. Everybody said that trade by Quentin was bad. There's a reason he got a timeout. I don't hand them out without backing up my points like I just did with talking about Mo Bamba not being the rim protector that Ivica Zubac is. Yeah. Coz McDance said, "Oh, heck no. I just ordered a Zubac jersey." Quentin is still he can't help himself. Wait, if Zoo is that guy, why wouldn't you be able to trade him for Jimmy Butler? Because salaries have to match, and Jimmy Butler, you don't understand. Jimmy Butler is a star in this league. I'm not diminishing that. He also is injury prone. He also is about to turn 35. And they're not in a rebuild situation where they're just looking for a big. You understand, they have Bam Adebayo. Like, they don't need Ivica Zubac because they have a good rim protector and a good center in Bam Adebayo that they play all the time. All right, Quentin, I answered all your questions. You're in timeout. And at some point, I might just block you because I can't stand the low-level stuff here, the casual talk when other people understand just how good Ivica Zubac is. You understand? You're alone in this, and there's a reason for that, Quentin. You're not making sense on so many levels. One, they wouldn't be able to get Jimmy Butler for him. Contract-wise, it's tricky, and also they have Bam Adebayo there. Two, the Clippers would get significantly worse defensively without Ivica Zubac. You didn't understand the part where Mo Bamba isn't the rim protector at all that Ivica Zubac does. And if you think he's canceling that out by shooting threes when we're talking about him making like a half a three per game, and you think he has this big-time three-point ability, he is a selective stretch 5. It's not like he's knocking down 3-pointers a game. I think he's a very solid backup, and I am happy Mo Bamba is on this team. Do I have to throw a block party on Thanksgiving? I really didn't have to want to do this. Alex Webb says it. Please stop trading for old dudes. We aren't trading Zubac. That would be horrible. There's the other part. Jimmy Butler's about to turn 35, and he's already been injury prone. Seems like he's already moving into the second part of his career. He's doing a lot of media stuff now. Rock said, feels like he was trolling, but Zoo trades are so random. Quentin is not trolling. That's the sad part. Philip said, I appreciate all that you do, Adam. But if they're really in here trying to trade Zoo for Jimmy, cut the stream and enjoy your Thanksgiving. Like, Quentin, do you understand? Nobody wants to hear this but you. Go to another channel. Find somebody else that will entertain this stuff. I'm not here for that. I'm trying to entertain a higher level of basketball ball knowers. Those are the people that are here. That's what we're trying to achieve here on Clippers Talk. Soggy wants me to permanently block you. See, it's not me, Quentin. Like, you're not helping advance the dialogue here for all the reasons that I've given. You're talking like a casual here. Let's get into some actual basketball matchup talk with the Clippers taking on the Minnesota Timberwolves. As I check the standings currently, Minnesota last night, they were 11th in the Western Conference as they're struggling. They're 8-10. They have lost 7 of 9. They have lost 4 in a row and I have lost the plot because I forgot to pull this audio, and I hope I'm able to play it from yeah, I'll be able to do it. I'll be able to do it. I can at least share it with you here. Anthony Edwards last night in the locker room post game after they lost to the Sacramento Kings. What's up, guys? What's up, William? What's up, Jonathan? I appreciate it. I didn't think there'd be so many people hanging out and so many regulars today. Alex Webb is making a great point, though. This is my point. It's like he saw my notes. The Clippers are getting a desperate, a hungry, ravenous Wolves team tomorrow. The Minnesota Timberwolves are starving for a championship and just a win. But they came in with championship expectations, and they are currently 8-10. They are starving for a victory. They are hungry like a wolf. Cue the Dan Duran. Does anybody remember that Old Spice commercial with Bruce Campbell doing a rendition of that on the piano? It was beautifully done. Back when I thought Old Spice commercials were the elite of the elite. Back with the old Mike's Hard Lemonade commercials up in that echelon. Mike's Hard Lemonade commercials went hard to start off in the early 2000s. Wrestling said James is going to cook those boys. JMI 1324 said Anthony Edwards blasted the team. All right, I'm going to play that audio from Ant post game because I think this is significant. I don't know if I'm going to be able to hear it, but I'm hoping you guys are going to be able to hear it if I share it with you here. He called him out, and I expect them to have a spirited effort because when your superstar says something like this, and I think this is leadership, it gets guys' attention. Here was Anthony Edwards post game last night after they lost their fourth straight game, this time to the Kings.
We've been trying to figure this out for the whole year, man. We thought this was defense was our identity, and it's not. It's not looking like it at all. We don't know what our identity right now. Me and Mike was talking about. I think is we soft as hell, like as a team, internally. Like you know what I mean. Like not to the other team, but like internally, like we soft. Like we can't talk to each other. Just a bunch of little kids. It's just like we playing with a bunch of little kids. Like everybody, like the whole team. We just can't talk to each other, you know. And we got to figure it out, man, because we can't go down this road.
Were you guys able to hear that? Did that work for you? Let me know. Did you guys hear that audio from Anthony Edwards? He's talking about the communication and lack thereof and how they're a soft team because of it. They're not talking with one another. It sounds like whether on the court or off the court, too. They have real issues going on right now. Yes, 3 dozen. The Clippers' three-point percentage has dropped overall, but their opponent's three-point percentage has dropped precipitously recently as well, so it hasn't necessarily hurt them. The Clippers have they won 9 of 11 or 9 of 12? You guys were able to hear it? Yeah, I saw this as well. Rudy Gobert but this is nothing new. Rudy Gobert has been frozen out of their offense multiple times over the years. You can go back and watch other plays. Like, people are highlighting it now and saying, "Oh, something's wrong with Minnesota because Rudy Gobert's not getting involved and he's asking for the basketball." That has been happening for years since he became a Minnesota Timberwolf. A couple of years. Glad you guys heard Anthony Edwards on a Thanksgiving special here on Clippers Talk. I'm with you for about, I don't know, 15 more minutes here because I'm hungry too. I wanna go eat. So let's talk about the Minnesota Timberwolves. Here's what's going on with them. I mentioned they've lost 4 in a row, 7 of 9. They are spiraling, and that audio attests to that. Anthony Edwards, he's their young leader. What is he, 23, 24 years of age right now? But calling them out for being soft after they got Mike Conley back yesterday after they had lost all 4 games without him this season and shot sub 43% from the field without him. They thought he was the cure-all. Get him back. They'll find a way to win that game against the Sacramento Kings last night. Nope. Minnesota lost again, 4 straight, 115 to 104 to Sacktown. So, let's talk about why they're struggling. What's the difference? Okay, here's what's funny. People talk about Karl Anthony Towns and how they're missing him and his offense and ability to spread the floor. Guess what? Minnesota's better with their offensive rating right now, and we're 25% of the way into the season. So when I give you these numbers between the Timberwolves and the Clippers, just know this is getting to a more significant sample size. We're 25% in so far this season. Minnesota is 13th offensively. Last year, they were 17th. They're better on the offensive end. That trade they made has not hurt them on offense, which is what most people suspect. Oh, you lose Karl Anthony Towns. He stretches the floor. He's giving you 20 a night. That's not what it is. Now, the Clippers, they're 22nd offensively, even after that explosion last night against the Washington Wizards, where they scored 121. It's just the numbers aren't going to fluctuate as much because we're getting a larger sample size. We're further into the season as I try to go back and forth and check out the comment section here. Happy Thanksgiving, SoCal Johnson 84. You think the Clippers beat the Wolves tomorrow night? The Wolves are going to get up for this game after what Anthony Edwards said. So here is the difference, guys, with the Minnesota Timberwolves. This is what has changed. They have had a steep drop off on defense. Last year, they were the best defense in the league by a mile. They had a 108.4 defensive rating. The next best team, the Boston Celtics, they were at 110.6. So they were giving up over 2 more points per 100 possessions on defense than Minnesota, the first-ranked defense. This year, and I didn't see this coming. I thought without Karl Anthony Towns, they would still be a top 5 defense, and maybe they will get there. But right now, something doesn't smell right. I don't think this is just a lack of personnel, by the way. There's more going on. And of course, with what we just heard from Anthony Edwards, that backs that up. So they go from the number 1 defense by a lot. There was distance between them and the number 2 defense in the league last season to right now being the 12th best defense. They're giving up 112 points per 100 possessions. Their pace is relatively the same. They're at 21st in pace. Clippers are 19th. But here's where they're also struggling. The Clippers are 3rd in rebounding percentage. Minnesota's 19th. Last year, they were 8th in rebounding percentage. So they're not closing out possessions. Because remember, the Clippers, they're 1st in defensive rebounding percentage. They are 1st in defensive rebounding percentage. That is something I also didn't see coming this season. Meanwhile, Minnesota went from 9th in defensive rebounding percentage last year to 16th this season. Let's talk about three-point shooting since someone just asked about it. Clippers dropped down a little bit. They're 13th at 36.8% from 3. I'm not surprised by this. They're missing Kawhi. They're missing, Paul George is in Philly. Those guys were high-volume three-point shooters, and they have not had Norman Powell for the last 5 games where they're still 4-1. I think he plays tomorrow. Clippers at 36.8% from 3. Minnesota's at 37% from 3. Clippers only attempt 33 per game. Minnesota gets them up. They're at 41 attempts. That's a big reason I think their offensive rating is up from 17th to 13th this year. Remember, it's their defense that has dropped off, not their offense with Minnesota. Clippers defense, second best right now when it comes to perimeter defense. Opponents are shooting just 33.7% from 3. And that's after Boston hit 22 threes on them. Mini, they're 11th at 35.2% from the outside. That's opponent three-point shooting against them. So they're solid there. Their defense hasn't dropped off much on the perimeter, but you got to remember some of this can be just fluky shooting. The Clippers have benefited from wide open three-pointers being missed against them. It's not all defense. Just like early in the season when teams were shooting something like 45% on open threes against them, I felt like that number would drop down eventually, and it did. That has nothing to do with your defense. That's just make or miss league type of stuff. Turnovers, Clippers struggle there. 27th at 16.8 turnovers per game. Minnesota's a whole turnover less per game than the Clippers. They're at 15.8. That's 21st in the league. So they're still bottom 10. They still turn the basketball over, but not as frequently as the Clippers. Clippers 17th in free throws attempted per game. Minnesota is 21st. Both get about 17 free throws up per game. Minnesota is 12th in 2-point percentage at 55.1%. Clippers 21st in 2-point percentage at 52.7%. So remember, Minnesota's 13th offensively, Clippers 22nd. You'd expect them to be better in 2-point percentage and 3-point percentage, which they are. Clippers 11th in points in the paint, though, per game at 50. Minnesota, they're 22nd in points in the paint per game at 45 per game. Clippers 12th best in opponents' points in the paint per game. That's paint defense. They're only giving up 46 points per game and points in the paint to their opponent. Minnesota is way down. They're giving up 52 points per game in the paint to the opposition. That's 25th. Last season, they were giving up only 45 points per game. So that's where you see that slippage on the defensive end from the Minnesota Timberwolves. Clippers 14th in fast break points per game, 16 per game. That's up from last season. That's good for them. I know it's middle of the pack, 14th, but 16 points in fast break scoring is solid for the Clippers. Minnesota, they're bottom 3 in that area. They don't get out and run much. They're at 12.1 fast break points per game. When it comes to opponent fast break points, they're pretty much identical. 19th and 20th. Clippers giving up 16 points in the fast break per game, Mini at 16.4. So, what about Anthony Edwards? Has his play dropped off much? Not at all. Everything's up for him. He's scoring 28 points per game, 46% from the field, and Ant is shooting 43% from 3. Julius Randle, he's getting 22 and 7, shooting 50% from the floor, 35% from the outside. Naz Reid, he's getting 14 points on 49-39 shooting splits. I don't know what his free throw percentage is, but he's shooting 49% from the field and 39% from the outside. Rudy Gobert, the production's a little bit down. He's getting 10 and 11 as opposed to 14 and 13 last season, 14 points, 13 boards per game. This season, 10 points, 11 boards per game. Some of that is just because Naz Reid's playing more, Julius Randle is playing more. Those guys are getting some of those rebounds, and he's scoring less, as people have talked about in the chat. I'm telling you, do not underestimate this Timberwolves team, though. They are desperate. A wounded animal is a dangerous one, and that's where the T-Wolves are at right here, having lost 4 in a row and 7 of their last 9. Basically, kind of the opposite of where the Clippers are. Two teams going in opposite directions. Because the Clippers currently, they have what? 1 6 of 7. Minnesota has lost 7 of their last 9. Clippers 12 and 8. Minnesota is 8 and 10. And again, I do want to stress this. We're 25% of the way into the season. So those numbers are becoming more significant when we do these game previews. This is a better indication of who this Clippers team is going to be throughout this season. Jonathan Ing says, I think we are better equipped to handle the Wolves this year since they lost their Twin Tower lineup. Miles Johnson said Randall has been all right on defense, but he's been so bad on defense, especially next to Naz Reid instead of Rudy. That's interesting. Jonathan Ing said, just cannot mess around with a team desperate for a win. Also a cup game. Clippers are going to have a hard time, though, getting out of their group because they lost to Houston. So the Houston Rockets currently leading in the group play, but they still got to play, I think. Have they played Sacramento yet? Rock said, Dante also looks like he is miserable. Dante DiVincenzo has not been great so far for the Minnesota Timberwolves. I think it started out okay. That first game they played against the Lakers, which they lost, but his numbers are down. He's scoring 8 points per game right now. The fit has not been seamless for him. We knew it would be an awkward fit with Julius Randle. How do you get the most out of him and get him to play winning basketball and impactful basketball out there? But Dante's Inferno, not exactly. He's getting okay. He's getting about 9 points per game, but shooting wise, the percentages are very low. He's at 35% from the field and 31% from the outside. That is unlike Dante DiVincenzo. And I like that move. I thought this could be a move where both teams could benefit, Minnesota and the Knicks. Instead, in some ways, it's taken away from both teams this early in the season, but, I mean, he's down 10% in field goal percentage from last season and basically 10% in three-point percentage. So, he hasn't found his comfort spot yet with this Timberwolves team. We know how good Mike Conley is. He's a Clippers killer just like Jonas Valanciunas, but he's only getting 8 points per game, and he's only shooting 32% from the field and 34% from the outside. But he has been good for them in getting their offense or getting them into their offense as a floor general. The numbers show that. So, Nickeil Alexander-Walker, what about him? He's at 9 points per game. He's been shooting it well. He's at 53% from the field and almost 50% from the outside. He's at 48% from 3. So, Nah is somebody you have to pay attention to in that game tomorrow. Jaden Daniels, he's getting 10 points per game. He's shooting it, not well. 43% from the field, 28% from the outside. This Minnesota team is due, and that's what you worry about. But you could have said the same thing yesterday against a team that had lost 12 straight in the Washington Wizards. Goose said, "I think December 15th is going to be a rumor day for trades, if not full of trades. A lot of teams who are supposed to be good have fell off badly, moves coming." Yeah, we've been talking about that a ton on here and on Clips and Dips, so wouldn't be surprised. Jonathan Ing said, "I think Conley has been struggling too, age catching up. The shooting percentages are way down." Miles Johnson said, "Clippers are guarding the 3 and the paint. That's super impressive." They are, but remember, three-point shooting can be very fluky. You can guard guys and it doesn't even matter. Case in point, the Boston Celtics game. Some of that is just sometimes the shots are going against you from the outside, and sometimes you're getting a little bit of luck with the opposition missing threes. See, Miles Johnson said, "Yeah, I just read that, Adam. You dumbass." David Hong said, "Happy and grateful that our team is competitive." Agree with you. Old Dirty Dasher said, "Happy Thanksgiving, Clipper Nation and Adam. I'm glad this team is way better than I expected." Same. M7MD Boys said, "If the Clippers get a 3-1 record in the Cup group and Rockets lose to Kings and get a 3-1, will there be a decider game?" No, because they lost to the Rockets head to head. I mean, it should go down head to head is the first tiebreaker. After that, it goes to point differential, but that's what I'm saying. They're likely not getting out of Group A. Here's a prediction for you. I think neither the Clippers or the Lakers are gonna get out of their group, and they're gonna end up playing in the losers bracket or whatever. There's 2 games on the schedule that currently aren't there. There are only 80 games because they have to schedule a couple games after you figure out who's going into the tournament, the knockout round, and who isn't. I think the Clippers are gonna end up playing the Lakers because both those teams are not gonna get out of their group. I can see that happening. Just throwing that out there. The Kenny GM asking what somebody already has asked a billion times. I think he will be playing. Miles Johnson said, "I remember Nah killed us in the game Kawhi left last season back at Crypto." Rock said, "It's only going to get worse for Dante in in opportunities with Rob starting to get minutes, then still playing Nah, Conley, Ant." Yeah, Minnesota is in a world of pain, but I'm telling you, do not underestimate this team. They're better than they have played so far. Bacon Double Swiss said, "Clippers are lucky to find teams that give us that dog energy. This team has a little aura of the team from SGA's rookie season." I mean, we talked about that heading into the season. This could be another 2018, 2019 year or 2017, 2018 year. There's something similar. Now, because it is Thanksgiving, because you guys are hanging out with friends and family, I want to do a little Thanksgiving special here. And how do I do that? I give you 4 obscure, under the radar, borderline irrelevant Thanksgiving movies that you could be watching, and I categorize them a little bit, the order of which you should be watching them. So, here are my Thanksgiving movies. I'm calling it Adam's Not So Traditional Thanksgiving movies to the rescue. We'll start with this one, and I got a sound bite from each one. If I get hit with a flag on this video, whatever. It's called Pieces of April. I think it's 2003, early 2000s. Uh, the reason for this, let's say you got a racist uncle that you were hoping didn't show up, but did. He's drunk off some spiked eggnog, and that shows he's the bad egg in the family. He's got some unwanted remarks at the dinner table. But if you put on Pieces of April first, Preeminent Strike, he'll see the beauty and diversity. As Katie Holmes is introducing her family to her African American boyfriend for the first time, they're having everyone over for Thanksgiving. It's PG-13, so you don't have to worry about any soft Lifetime movie type stuff. This has humor and heart. Prime Katie Holmes. If you were a fan of Dawson's Creek back in the day, I probably shouldn't point out that I've seen all 6 seasons. So here's the scene for you. Katie's cooking skills not so good in Pieces of April. So she goes next door to ask her African American neighbors for assistance with cooking the bird.
Who is it?
Hi, I'm in 3C. I need some help. Hi, I have a problem.
Hey, who is it?
It's the new girl in 3C. Says she's got a problem.
What?
Problems, Eugene. The girl's got problems. She's white. She got her youth, her whole privileged life ahead of her. I am looking forward to hearing about her problems.
Cuts to the next scene, and it actually gets heartfelt.
So that's the short version.
Oh my.
God damn.
If I told you the long version, you wouldn't have cried.
Apparently, she did have some problems. Even though she's white, get her whole youth and future ahead of her. They turn it on its head a little bit. It's funny. It will tug at the heartstrings a little bit. And I highly recommend Pieces of April as the first movie to watch here in Adam's untraditional Thanksgiving movie list. Now, the second course, movie 2 here. And if you're a listener to the FNA podcast with myself and Kevin Figures, you know about this Thanksgiving tradition. Movie 2 here, though, I like to describe it as the Big Lebowski of documentaries. We watched this with Clips and Dip as I spent Thanksgiving with them last year, and I think they would agree. But these Midwesterners in this movie are so unintentionally funny. If your gravy is thin enough, you'll have it shooting out your nose. It's called American Movie. It's from 1999. It's a documentary with a motley crew of characters, friends, and family who are all trying to pull off a black and white horror short called Coven, which actually, when I watched it, kind of worked, which was shocking considering the people that were involved. I liked the short film they came up with, but when you're watching the documentary, you would never think it would be able to be that good. Here's a clip where the director, Mark, is explaining his vision of his movie while his high musician friend, Mike, who sadly I think died recently, but he's standing next to him as they're being interviewed by the documentarians who somehow kept a straight face, or at least did not laugh close enough to the boom mic here, because this is pretty damn hilarious. Just listen to these characters.
Right now, we got to take action, man. We got to go out to that field, put those scarecrows in on a killer slant. You know, they've been there for years. The farm's burnt down. It's going to be the opening shots for Coven, you know?
And what is Coven?
Coven's a 35-minute direct market thriller film shot on 16mm black and white reversal. It's an alcoholic, man, compelled to go to this group meeting by his one and only friend left. But they're not that people, the group, you know? You know about the group thing?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what we're doing a film on. Coven, man. We got to get this sucker done, though. Seriously. Last night, man, I was so drunk, I was calling Morocco, man. Trying to get to the Hotel Hilton at Tangiers in Casablanca, man. That's pathetic, man. Is that what you want to do with your life? Suck down peppermint schnapps and try to call Morocco at 2 a.m? That's senseless. But that's what happens, man.
That's what happens, man.
Pathetic, man. Is that what you want to do with your life? suck down peppermint schnapps and try to call Morocco at 2 in the morning? That's senseless. But that's what happens, man.
The interviews, this is a real documentary, are funnier than anything you'll see in The Office or a mockumentary, even Spinal Tap, Fear of a Black Hat. These fools are trying in earnest to make a good horror movie about a guy at AA with a group that's not so helpful. I I included this as a Thanksgiving movie because it takes place during Thanksgiving and Christmas. Again, American movie. It's a documentary from 1999. Somebody asked me for a Thanksgiving recommendation recently, and I gave them this, and I think it was somebody from Clippers Talk, and they said they laughed their ass off, and you will. Trust me. Okay. Third movie here. This is more of a slow burn. So as you're slowly digesting the meal by now at Thanksgiving and getting a little tired and you want to relax, check out Ang Lee's white suburban drama, The Ice Storm. Ang Lee, pretty great director. So it's got swingers couples in it. It's got Christina Ricci in her forehead, Elijah Wood. There is a funny scene here I'm going to give to you at the Thanksgiving table between the dysfunctional family where the dad, played by Kevin Kline, tries to get in the holiday spirit before Christina Ricci shows off her wokeness before we even had a word for it, because I think this came out, I don't know, 1998.
Well, it's great that we can all be together. And this Thanksgiving, no yelling, no hysteria, especially with your grandpa not here, although we miss him. So let's do it right. And Wendy, why don't you say grace? You used to love to say grace, remember?
Dear Lord, thank you for this Thanksgiving holiday, and for all the material possessions that we have and enjoy, and for letting us white people kill all the Indians and steal their tribal lands and stuff ourselves like pigs, even though children in Asia are being napalmed.
Okay. Jesus, enough, all right. Paul, roll.
Oh, Tobey Maguire's in it too. That's Paul.
Paul, roll. Paul, roll.
The Reach, Christina Ricci, dropping some inconvenient truths there at the Thanksgiving table. All right, my last one here for you in the Thanksgiving foursome. It's a little bit more controversial and suspect than even The Ice Storm and American Movie and Pieces of April. So this is the one you want to watch after everybody goes to bed tonight. The kids are put to bed. Maybe your crazy uncle is still up and he's sloshed and, trying to fight the Christmas tree if you already have that up. But this is a pretty demented movie. It's called Thanksgiving. It's a so bad it's good slasher-like comedy involving a killer turkey who's out for revenge on the holiday and has flipped the tables on everyone trying to kill and eat him. And this turkey is evil and likes to taunt its victims. Listen to this mixtape of turkey trash talk I put together from Thanksgiving, and earmuffs for the kids here because this turkey has a foul mouth.
I'm gonna drink your blood like cranberry sauce. Gobble, gobble, motherfucker.
Looks like I got something you don't got, turkey.
What's that, Darren? A vagina? You're done, bitch.
Yeah. And now I'm done with my Thanksgiving foursome.
You're done, bitch.
Yeah, get in the holiday spirit. Thanksgiving is the name of that one.
You're done, bitch.
Appreciate everybody here. I hope you have a fabulous Thanksgiving. Get to eat a ton. Enjoy the fellowship with your friends and family. And enjoy, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Clippers Talk. This was a Thanksgiving special. Thanksgiving special as well.
You're done, bitch.
I appreciate y'all, even Quentin and his bad trade ideas that nobody wants in here. I'm sorry, Quentin. I hope you have a great Thanksgiving as well, and you stop wanting to trade Ivica Zubats for Jimmy Butler because there's a myriad of reasons why that doesn't work. Guys, we'll talk to you tomorrow. Pregame starts at 3:30. Clippers in Minnesota taking on the Timberwolves. I'm Adam Oslin, and this has been your Clippers Talk Thanksgiving special.